What's going on, New Canoe Nation? We are back. I have to apologize. I epically failed all of you last week. It was all my fault, but we're back. We're back on track. We got guests lined up for the next few weeks, and we'll keep rolling. Keep rolling. New Canoe shirts are back in stock. Get them on the website, newcanoe.com. These are nice, too. Nice and soft, the way I like them. But tonight we got Robert Weiker. I think I got that right. On the show tonight. One of our tournament team guys had an epic season fishing KBF. Just came off of fishing the National Championship, the Trail Series Championship, the Team Cup Challenge. And I'm forgetting one more in there, I'm sure. But we're going to talk to him, get a little background on him, how he got into kayak fishing. I know we were talking a little bit before this started, and he wasn't like really intending on hitting it hard this year, and then things just happened. So without further ado, let's get Robert in the house. What's up, my man?
What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. I appreciate you taking the time away from the family tonight and sitting down, chatting with us. Those tuning in at home, if you guys got any questions throughout the show, feel free to drop them in the chat. See Matt Davis already, Big Bass Bobby.
He's always on top of it.
I like it, man. So give us a little background, man, like where you're from, how you got into kayak fishing.
I live in Marietta, Ohio. It's that way southeast Ohio on the Ohio River. I started kayak fishing in Cookeville, Tennessee. Nice. And some guys have already heard this before, but I heard there was kayak tournaments, and I was like, that's cool. So why not go try one? So I went and fished Craig Dye's Cold Hands Classic with KBF TN, and him and Ron Champion were there. And I showed up I had a CUDA 14, and I had a little tiny 4-inch low rants on it. And those boys, as soon as I pulled in the parking lot, they jumped up, they helped me unload my stuff. They talked about how cool my gear was, and they've been doing this forever. And they just made me feel like a superstar. You know, I didn't feel like the outcast the first second I got there, and I've been hooked ever since. So I fished down there until 2019, I think, is whenever I moved up here to Ohio, and then started fishing up here with BKFT, Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail, and then running all over this country doing KBF stuff.
BKFT, didn't they just finish up their season this last weekend?
Yeah, we're not going to hit on that.
I was going to say, because right before while the intro was going, I saw the results pop up. I forget, maybe it was Sean Skidmore posted it or something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was looking at the results because I'm always looking for, doesn't Mike Grimsley fish with you guys all the time?
Yeah.
Mike's
that was an interesting event. My BKFT season started off with their first 2-day event, and I blanked both days.
Oh, no.
That ended with their other 2-day event, and I blanked both days. Speaking of Matt Davis, that old dude, I met him a couple years ago, and he was river. He wasn't ever going to fish a big lake. Didn't want no part of it, none whatsoever. And he rolls up there to the Classic. He was in second place in the first day, ended up 4th overall. So he shout out to him for sure. He's went from being that strictly creek and river guy to learning some lake stuff and really cute. He did really, really well this year out there on the big lakes.
That's cool, man. What would you classify like your strengths as? Are you more of a moving water guy or a lake guy?
As far offshore as you could ever find me in the biggest lake you can get to.
Nice. I like
it. Playing video games.
We need to fish together.
That's my favorite thing in the world to do.
No, I was just reading some stuff earlier about, a lot of guys are complaining about boundaries and, should creeks be allowed and things like that. And it's a lot of guys, everybody's all over the board. Everybody's got great points. It was an interesting thread I was reading through. So
I think they always be in play for sure. I mean, this creeks produce fish. Heck, I won $3,000 in a creek this year, and I hate fishing them. It's all I had. It's the only place I can find fish on Kentucky Lake. So
I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do, right? You got to get off that beaten path and get back up in some of those small creeks, man. And sometimes those fish are just stacked in there.
They were for sure that day.
Right on, man. Right on. So, when did you get into a new canoe?
In 2017, I bought a Pursuit off my buddy Trey Johnson, and I swore it's the best boat I ever owned. I loved it. It was awesome. I loved the layout, the wide open floor. I loved how fast it was. I paddled that boat the whole season. And then I moved here, and honestly, the closest club to me is their closest tournament's well over an hour away.
Yeah.
Most of them are 3 to 3.5 hours. And so I took about 3 years off of fishing the live scene, and I sold my Pursuit and bought a lot smaller kayak to drag through the woods before the Flint came out. And I started fishing all the online stuff up here at our AEP. We got 308 strip mine ponds, and it's like a bass fisherman's mecca if you're willing to put in the work, catch hammers up there. Then I got back into the live tournament scene, and then last year I got back into Pursuit and was like, man, why did I ever get rid of it? It's so fast. I love the layout. I am leaning. I think I'm going to probably fish out of an unlimited next year.
Okay. All right. Going to make the switch?
Yeah, it's not as fast as a Pursuit because, my Pursuit's smoking. That thing. National Championship, I launched with 30 guys. And aside from the Torpedo guys, I had the fastest motor guide in the group. And when you're running 4 miles, you wouldn't think a mile an hour makes that much difference, but it makes a world of difference when you're on school.
Huge.
So that Pursuit's, I like it a lot. I think I'm going to the unlimited because I'm going to be fishing a lot bigger lakes. And like I said, the Pursuit's really fast, but on the real big waves, it gets a little dicey.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to get the unlimited. I think the unlimited is going to be the best of both worlds between the Pursuit and the Frontier 12.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that, man, because I fished out of the Pursuit last year, and then the unlimited came out early this year. And I made the switch, man, and it's definitely faster than a Frontier, but you still have the stability of the Frontier. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a big dude. You look like a, decent sized guy. You used to be a cage fighter, right?
Yeah, that was back in my thinner days, about 50 pounds ago.
Just be like everybody else. You got the COVID-20, man.
I got the fisherman's physique now. So
I like it. No, man, it's so have you been in an unlimited yet, or?
I got in one once for about 45 seconds, and that's about it. But my buddy's got them. I fish next to him all the time. We're running all over with them. Matt Davis has one. Jason Lyle's got one. And Blaine has one. I seen his up at the National Championship. And I got in the F with a Frontier 12. And the layout, on the inside is pretty well a lot like it. And so
sure,
I'm pretty sure I'll be making that switch real soon.
Nice.
I'll probably end up getting one I'd say real soon.
Right on. You still going to run the XI3 in the front?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that motor. I love the motor. It's fast. One thing about the motor is a lot of guys are talking about speed. Wiring is such a huge thing with that motor. If you don't wire it good heavy gauge stuff, good 70 amp plug, you'll lose a lot. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'll be running that. I wouldn't know what to do without a bow mount.
Yeah, I know. I've had that conversation with David Brook and Romel, aka the Wizard.
Oh yeah,
that's the biggest thing, man. Just running that thicker gauge wire, so you're getting that pull through the wire.
It's a big difference.
Yeah,
the way my Pursuit's wired right now, my buddy's got a unlimited on a Flint, and he's got a motor guide on a Flint, and you would think it'd be faster.
Sure,
but with the factory wiring from Motor Guide, mine is quite a bit faster than that one. And I'm hoping I can talk him in this winter to upgrade that wiring. I want to see how fast that Flint is because I bet it'll get it.
I bet it'll smoke right across the water, man. That'll be slick. So you're obviously by the looks of the hoodie there, you're running a Dakota lithium battery.
Yeah, I run a 100 amp Dakota.
Yeah.
Then got a 23 in the hole that runs my Garmin and my live scope.
Nice. How much distance are you getting out of a full charge? You ever run out of juice, or?
I haven't killed it yet. I ran 13 miles at Alum Creek. I went to Alum Creek Lake and I found a bite on points, and called my buddy and I said, hey, you're going to have to pick me up at the campground because I'm not coming back to Ramp Weed Launch Room. I'm going to hit every single point from here to the other end of the lake. And so cutting back and forth across the lake, straight line was like 8 miles, but I ended up covering 13 miles going back and forth. So that one didn't pan out either. Caught 2 fish on the first point and thought I was onto something, and the next 7.5 hours was nothing.
That's cool. That's
nothing
cool.
but short ones.
Right on, man. Well, let's break down your season, man, because before we started this, you were telling me you're like, I wasn't even planning on fishing, a lot of the national scene, stuff like that. You weren't planning on traveling a bunch, and then it kind of happened. So let's hear it, man. Like how'd the season start off, and how'd you get to being, the traveling man and cashing a bunch of checks and all that good stuff, man? You got some hardware there behind you.
Yeah, it's been a good year. Started off, I've got the most awesome wife in the world. I got 4 kids, and for her to stay home while I'm running and running and running, I could never do it without her. So huge props to her to start. But I initially planned on just fishing the Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail full season and the BASS events and qualify for the class or for the championship. As soon as that started, I had a really good start to the year. I ended up really high in their points race. And, once you start seeing your name at the top of those lists, there isn't no stop. You can't quit.
Right. Yeah.
So then I went to East Harbor, and everybody knows Lake Erie, East-West Harbor tournament. I'm gonna catch some fish there. I always have. Hopefully I always do. They changed it a little bit for next year, but we'll see. And I won the KBF trail stop on East Harbor for the 2nd year in a row there.
Nice.
Still not really planning on fishing the national stuff too hard. My buddy Kyle messaged me, and he's like, hey, you want to run down to Kentucky Lake? And I said, sure, I got history on Kentucky Lake. Let's go fishing. My history is about 4 years old, and I got down there, and my history was garbage. We practiced and had a horrible practice. Day before the tournament, I told Kyle, I said, here's a creek. You go check it. I'm going to go check my stuff and check my last spot. And Kyle I actually drove my truck over there. He had about an hour boat ride to get there. And when he wasn't back, I drove my truck over to pick him up. And I launched my kayak because he wasn't there. And he's like, man, I met this Jimmy guy back there in the creek. And I said, Jimmy McClurkin? He said, yeah. And I was like, oh, is he fishing here tomorrow? He said, no. I said, well, then we are. So that's all we pretty much had. We went for a ride in the creek. We looked around, seen a few bass. And the first day there, I ended up getting 9th. And we were fishing the mouth of the creek and all the way. We had to work for them that day. We caught a bunch of them, but not any big ones.
Sure.
And then the trail stop number 2, we found a mega school on day 1 that was just giant. And we couldn't get them to eat because they seen us first. And I told Kyle, I said, in the morning, we're going to run all the way up in this creek and bust that school right there in that brush pile if they're still there. Well, the weather got sketchy. And it was almost daylight. About 3 minutes before the tournament started, it started raining. And I was like, man, I got a ton of spinnerbait. Let's stop right here at the mouth of the creek, and we'll just start here because it's too sketchy to get up in that creek and navigate it in the dark.
Sure.
He's like, all right. Throw on a spinnerbait. 14 minutes, I had that tournament won.
Oh, wow.
We started just casting, and, man, it was crazy. There was fish everywhere. I had 92 inches in 14 minutes, and then an hour and a half later, I had 96 and a half, I think.
Oh, geez.
So I think the mega school that we seen cruising up in the creek was coming to the mouth because the weather coming in.
Yeah.
So I think whenever we stopped there, it was just, I guess it was just in God's hands, man. I had no reason. I had no intentions on stopping there. I put my spot lock on 3 minutes before the tournament started. I didn't take it off till I had 92 inches.
Jesus.
So just, when the stars align.
Yeah.
So we get back to the house, and my buddy was like, hey, man, you're in the top 10 in the nation in points. And I was like, no, I'm not. I didn't know KBF did 3. They took your top 3 finishes.
Yeah, right.
You got 2 firsts and a 9th. You're going to make the 10 house. And I was like, and I had no intention of going to the national championship whatsoever. As soon as I figured that out, I looked at my buddy Jason Lyle and I said, hey, man, you going to the national championship? He said, yeah. And I grabbed my phone, signed up. I said, might as well. I'm going to make it 10 house. So we ended up fishing, heading down Louisiana. I'd never been there. So we kind of looked at it as like a destination vacation,
Sure.
just to go fish. And we spent 2.5 days struggling. Couldn't find anything. And my goal was I didn't care about the 3rd day. Not at all. the national championship, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to win, but I wanted in that 10 house really bad.
Sure.
We fished main lake, couldn't find nothing. Drew Gregory rented our house for us, and he put us on a creek. Go figure. So the last day, I think the last 2 days before practice, I told Jason, I said, let's just go up this creek. Let's go see what it's got. So we run all the way up this creek, and man, I found a mega school that was as big as a neighborhood. I mean, there were so many fish in it.
That's crazy.
And, I didn't think we had enough to win, but I thought we had enough to do really well. Sure. I figured I needed 90 inches a day to make the 10 ounce. Little did I know them boys were going to hammer them. So day one, I had 89.75. Day two, I had 89.75. And missed the 10 house by 1.5 inches. Ooh. No big deal. I mean, ended up 12th in the Angler of the Year standings. Not bad for not wanting to be competitive, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that, man, because the last time I fished KBF hard was in 2019, and I think I ended up somebody could probably look this up. I think I was like 26th overall in the nation or something, but I mean, it's a lot of hard work, man, a lot of hard work and dedication, just chasing that trail and chasing those points, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Let me ask you this, because I'm a head case, right? And it really screwed me up when I realized I was up there, because at one point I was like in the top 16, 15, something like that. And then like I was just so focused on the points and I forgot about fishing. Did that affect you mentally, like when you were out there fishing tournaments?
Not really, because when I was actually fishing the tournaments, I didn't have those intentions. You know what I mean? I didn't even know where I was at in the standings, so I got back to the house after the second day at Kentucky Lake. So So really the only time it got to me was, we'll say, at Caddo Lake, but my goal was 90 a day, and I had 89.75. So I mean, not normally, yes, it absolutely would have. If I started my year out saying I want to be competitive, I'm going to go to the 10 house. That's my goal. I want this, want that. Then yes, but. This one, it was a pretty cool, fun year, because it was just a chill year that turned out awesome.
See, I think that's when guys have great years, when they're just chilling. And I mean, you look at some of the top anglers, out there, Cody Milton, Drew Gregory.
Look at Josh Stewart. You ever seen him get excited?
Yeah. Nope. Josh Stewart, Russ Snyder's, Guillermo, like they're all just out there having a blast, like. Don't get me wrong, they put in a lot of hard work and a lot of pre-fishing and stuff like that. But, when it comes to tournament time, they're cool and calm, man. They're just out there and it's another day on the water to them, it seems like.
Yeah, I've known Josh Stewart, since he started fishing this stuff. Him and I started at the same time. He used to fish my club in Tennessee, and I fished the KBFTN down there. And every time I see him, he's always just kicked back, chilling, smiling, whacking hands all the time.
Oh, yeah. Throwing that wacky rig Senko. That's
that stupid Senko. I've been beat by that thing so many times, and I've yet to just give up and say, fine, I'm going to throw it. I mean, I've won some money on it, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to. And everybody knows if they roll up on me, see me with a spinning rod and a Senko in my hand, you probably shouldn't say hi, because I'm not going to be real nice. Because I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, I remember Josh, it was at that 2019 Trail Series Championship. He took second in the Trail Series Championship, but he won the Challenge Championship and the Pro Tour Championship. That's when they had the Pro Tour. And I remember asking him, because he told everybody he was throwing a wacky rig Senko, and I was like, what color were you using? And he's like, he looked at me and he goes, bro, there's only two colors, black and blue and green pumpkin, and turned around and just walked away. That was his mic drop,
That's the end of the conversation. Which honestly, in my range of soft plastics, same thing. That's it. And people ask me what color I throw, and it's either black or blue or green pumpkin. Yeah. I'm not catching fish.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So are you more of a power fisherman or a finesse fisherman?
Absolutely. I absolutely love my spinner bait. I'll throw a spinner bait with the best of them if I can. I'll force feed it to them if I got to. That and the jackhammer. Everybody knows the old jackhammer, but
yeah.
But now I'll throw like my offshore stuff. I love to throw a Carolina rig. A lot of guys steer shy dragging the old ball and chain, but I'll drag it all day long. It's one of my favorite baits to throw. Probably my top bait to throw unless we're in a grass lake. If we're in any other lake, I'll drag a rig about anywhere.
Nice. I like it. Very cool, man. Spinnerbait you throwing like mostly Colorado blades or willow leaves?
Double willows. I throw a Pro Tackle Crafter spinnerbait. They're a company local here, and it's kind of one of those things. They've got a really thin wire on their bait, and I tear them up a lot. But it's kind of like I was talking to a guy earlier on Messenger. Like you give and take a little bit on that thin wire, destroying your spinnerbaits, or that thick wire not getting vibration. So I'd rather 20 spinnerbaits and catch 50 more fish than have one that's going to last for 50. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal preference. I'd rather throw one that's really going to send off vibrations. I feel like they catch more fish.
I like that. Sweet, man. So what's 2022 looking like for you? You going to go back and hit it hard? You going to take it easy? Like you going to
It's not supposed to be as busy, but I think that we've already discussed it's going to be a lot busier. So we're going to first, before anything, as soon as BASS announces where the kayak championship is going to be in South Carolina, I call them Ironman weekends. I'm going to make some get off work on Friday, run down there, fish Friday evening, Saturday, fish Sunday, drive back home, be at work on Monday, get some practice time in to get to know whatever lake it's on. Cause that was my ultimate goal at the beginning of the year. I wanted to qualify for it and I want to win it. So
nice.
We're going to really put some time in that one. And then, I haven't 100% decided on the 10 Invitational. I know for sure we're going to do KBF Murray, Erie, St. Clair, and Champlain. And I'm 90% sure there's one on Gunnersville. Mm-hmm. So we're going to spend more time this year in the areas that I know the water a little bit better and try to spend our money a little more wisely. I don't want to like a better ROI. Like I don't want to go down to Florida and fish necessarily because I'm not good down there. I don't know Florida. I don't get time down there. But Champlain, Erie, St. Clair, Murray, those are right in my wheelhouse. So
yeah, man, focus on your strengths for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to spend more time on what I know I can do good at. And then obviously we're going to fish the BKFT trail again. Might as well. These guys they're too much fun. They bring back what I learned to love in kayak fishing, and that was the camping trips, the camaraderie. Like at our campsite in Tennessee, we would book a whole campsite. I'm talking 80 or 90 people just bringing their families and having cookouts. And I kind of missed that when we moved here. Now BKFT, we're getting 15, 20 guys every single week, every weekend. Even this last weekend, rain and cold and nasty. We had 15 guys sitting around a fire freezing their guts out. It was so cold. But that's what I like about it.
That's cool, man. No, the camaraderie aspect, man, and the just hanging out with folks, that like-minded folks and family and all that stuff, man. I mean, when we started the episode, I had pulled that picture from your Facebook profile, man. You had your whole family down there in Louisiana. That was the Louisiana event, correct?
That was East Harbor.
East Harbor. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever heard the story about my daughter on that one, have you?
No, I haven't.
The year before last when I won, my stepdaughter, my stepson, my wife, and my son got to come. But my daughter didn't get to. And I won that event. Man, she was bummed she wasn't there. I was bummed she wasn't there. And then this year, right before the tournament started at East Harbor, I had my whole family there. I looked at my daughter and I said, hey, I'm going to win this tournament for you. And she's like, Dad, she said, you don't have to win this tournament for me. She said, I'm proud of you. You're the best fisherman in the world. And I was like, gosh, dang, talk about getting Dad's feelings. So then we went out and fished it. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't get crazy emotional, but I was tore up as it gets when I was sitting there on the water and had 96 inches, knowing that when I got back to the boat ramp, they were all going to be standing there on the levee watching me fish my last spot because I told them where it was. And I got back to the ramp, and it was just the coolest thing ever. I got to win it with her there. So second year in a row, she was bummed the first year. She got to be there the second year. So that tournament, of everything I've ever done in fishing, that meant more to me than anything.
That's cool, man. That's a really cool story. I dig that. Dustin Hoy's in the chat. He said, what's your favorite BKFT tournament?
I'd say the Raccoon Creek tournament.
Okay.
Look, I got two of them. We'll say the Raccoon Creek tournament because it's the first one of the year. Well, it was last year and the year before. And everybody comes out to that one. We all hang out down there at the shop at Raccoon Creek Outfitters. They got a huge fire pit, big bonfire, and it's just an absolutely awesome way to start the year off. So first year I finished third. Second year I goose egged both days. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And then for fish catching is absolutely eerie. Everybody knows this. BKFT does one at the beginning of the year on East Harbor. KBF does 2 on East Harbor. And then last year, Michigan, Ohio had one on East Harbor. So I was there 4 times last year and got the 1st, 6th, 7th, and 9th. So
nice.
Just my grandpa was a charter there forever when I was a kid. So it's kind of got a special place in my heart being up there. I love that place.
Right on. Charter for walleyes or for bass?
Yeah, walleyes and perch.
Nice. I like it, man. I've only fished Erie once or twice, and it was for walleyes, for a walleye tournament.
Yeah, I used to go up there when I was a kid and just stay the weekends, or stay the summers. Whenever I was a kid, I'd get out of school and head up there and stay with him.
That's cool. Out of Port Clinton, or
he was out of right by Maumee Bay. He was out of the Cougar Canal Yacht Club.
Yeah, and
then I don't ever fish the lake. I fish the main lake like once a year. I go up do a smallmouth trip with my buddies, which we're trying to plan one now. Once BKFT comes out with their schedule, we're going to schedule one around it. But
nice.
I fish back in the bays whenever we're bass fishing. So
very cool.
Chasing greenfish, but rumor has it next year it's going to be boundaries from East Harbor all the way to St. Clair. So you won't see me.
We were talking about this on my other podcast the other last week Thursday, I think it was. Like, are they gonna have like some kind of boundary where you can only go so far off a shore, or like how's that gonna work? Do you know?
I have no idea. I'm honestly hoping they don't change it a bit for obvious reasons, but they I don't usually. It's like usually they'll come out to the islands or they'll make it a couple miles, but most of the time the wind. More often than not, the wind's going to keep us from going out there. So we'll end up back in the bays. And so I'm going to set up at St. Clair to fish it because I've got a few spots up there that are pretty awesome smallmouth spots. But if they kick us back in the bays, I'm going to have to make the run all the way down to East Harbor and hop back in my honey hole and see if she's still holding fish. So I don't know.
I like it, man. That'll be cool, man. Very cool. Right on, man. Well, I'll give you the final floor, man. Any last thoughts, thank you, shout outs, any of that, man? It's all yours, brother.
I want to just, like I said earlier, I want to thank my wife for an unbelievable season. Like I said, we didn't have plans on being competitive. I think we fished 11, 12, 13, 15 or 16 tournaments and drove all over the place. And then always got to thank Raccoon Creek because it's the off season. And, well, sort of, if there is any such thing. In March, they take us down to Florida, and we go down there, and we're going to go peacock bass fishing.
Oh, very cool.
Their shop is just, if you're ever anywhere near the Albany, Ohio area, and you can stop in their shop, I mean, they're not open now, but there's always usually somebody there, or call them, say, hey, you want to come by? They'll come down, open the doors. Their place is just the coolest shop there ever was. I've been to tons of them all over the country, and they make you feel like family as soon as you get there. So
that's awesome.
Big shout out Dustin Hoy, Bobby, and Raccoon Creek. And then obviously Dakota Lithium keep me powered all year. Everybody keeps asking me how many miles I get out of that 100 ampere. And I'm telling you, I've tried to kill it and I ain't killed it yet. And I've not talked to many guys that have. I know Cody Milton killed his, and I think he was around 16 or 17 miles.
Sure.
So, and New Canoe, that Pursuit, it's the fastest boat there is. And as far as you throw an XI3 on it, it's going to be getting it.
Heck yeah.
And then Pro Tackle Crafters, they keep me stocked all season. They're a local company here. They hooked me up really good this year. They've taken really good care of me. Them spinner baits they've killed it. I made a bunch of money on them this year. And
do they have a website or is it Facebook?
ProTackleCrafters.com.
Okay.
And they've on Facebook, and then my YouTube channel is Weiker's Outdoors. Shameless plug, but they've got in all of my descriptions. There's a link to all their websites and everything else. And then another company, keep an eye out for, is a pretty cool company, Chasing 20 Clothing. So they used to be chasing 20 pounds in the bass boat world. And I noticed that one day, and I was like, hey, you guys know that us kayak guys, we live and die by chasing 20 inchers. Like, that's all we want. And he kind of took a hit off of that, and they're designing a whole new line of clothing for kayak guys they'll be coming out with soon. So,
oh, that's cool. Heck yeah.
But nice, that's pretty much it. So my season's closed finally. Been a long one, been a great one. And what is it? November.
We're almost to November.
Almost November, so the rut's
Monday will be November. Close enough.
almost time
counting?
for rut and bow hunting. Getting the deer hunting woods.
That's where I've been, and that's part of the reason why we missed the show last week. Again, I apologize. It was my fault. I messaged Everett, and I was like, dude, I really screwed up. I totally forgot to schedule a guest last week. And I threw some messages out there, and everybody was busy last Tuesday. So I ended up going and sitting in the stands. So we're back at it. We're here every Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast.
Yeah, I need to get a hold of Everett about that the tethered slings he's using, or what are they called? The stands he's using.
Yeah.
I've been looking at those forever, and I haven't got one yet. But I think I might pull the trigger on one soon. We'll see.
I drilled him with a few questions down at ICAST and stuff on it, and he's really digging it. I think he used it last year as well. So
yeah, he just killed a good buck out of it this year already.
Yeah, it looked like a triple main beam.
I seen that. It's pretty cool.
What the heck, Everett? Like he sent me trail cam pics, and there was no triple main beam picture in there. So
it's that time of year, man. They're roaming.
Yeah, buddy, man, it's picking up here in Northern Illinois. So hopefully, fingers crossed, one buck tag will at least get filled this weekend. So we'll see. But have a safe season, man, and good luck out there. And we all look forward to seeing what you do next year out on the tournament trail, man.
All right, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody tuning in, if you came in late, you can always go back, rewatch the episode on Facebook, YouTube, or if you like listening in the car, you could always catch it on the any major podcast platform. Just search New Canoes Unlimited. As soon as the show ends, I always upload the audio to those platforms, so you can check it out. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, always drop them in the comments. Every show, I always even go back and look. So if you're watching it at a later date or time, I can always get those answered. Hit up Robert if you got any questions for him. Check out his YouTube channel. I dropped the Pro Tackle Craft Outfitter or Outdoors website down in the chat if you guys want to check out those spinner baits he was talking about. I don't know. Is that cool with you? I mean, people are going to find the secret sauce, dude.
They got to know how to fish them first.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I got a few secrets and tweaks that I might use
There you go.
Competition with the spinner baits.
I like it. We will see you guys all next week, next Tuesday. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Schmitz coming on. So we're going to talk to him.
That'll be a good one.
It'll be a great show. So we will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.